4 years, something like that. So just a little bit about me. I'm not native to Tennessee. I actually grew up in Germany. Like, military father. I grew up speaking German though. Didn't know I wasn't German until I came to college at 18 years of age here in the States. So you can imagine the identity crisis that I had here for a while. But what's kind of interesting is that my father was military, and he, if you remember anything about the Cold War, you know that there was always there was a huge, I guess, battle between democracy and communism, and so we kids overseas were raised to be very much aware that we were ambassadors of the United States of America. So I eventually grew up to become very intrigued with personality assessments, or just like different ways of vetting people. So I'm the founder of Traitmarker, TRAITMARKER. You can go online, traitmarker.com, which is a personality assessment that I have been able to make useful, I guess, for entrepreneurs. Okay? And so the basic concept behind Traitmarker is that everyone has a hidden strength. Everyone has a hidden strength. And your hidden strength is probably what a lot of other personality assessments call your weakness. It's kind of interesting, whenever you have a weak muscle, or you have a weak trait, or you have a weak skill set, you're typically encouraged to build it up until it's as large as your others. Well, when it comes to personality, it's very, very different. It's very similar to yin yang. Everything has a complement. So, your strengths have a weak complement, and your weaknesses are unique to you because they're your weaknesses. They're not anyone else's weaknesses. And those weaknesses are only meant to be accessed during certain times. And so I like to say that your dominant personality is what we call, I call it, there's a term I've recently developed. Okay, so this is kind of new. You guys are hearing this for the first time. But problem creation is a verb I use for the kinds of problems you find, the kind of problems that just naturally follow you around. Have you ever noticed that maybe for certain personality types, people always come and dump information on you that you probably don't want to know? Or people come, they know where to find you because you're a great, maybe nurturer. And so, okay, well, those are dominant skill sets. Those are skill sets that other people notice. But the problem is that those skill sets are also the skill sets that create your problems for you. And Albert Einstein, who I love the guy, I've read his book, The Law of Relativity, didn't understand much of it, but he's brilliant. He has a lot of practical quotes for us. And one, he says, it's something like, the kind of effort it takes to create a problem is not the same kind of effort it takes to fix that problem. And oftentimes we experience things like burnout or depression or other forms of what I call exaggerated suffering because of the holding patterns we find ourselves in. You know why? It's because we use our dominant skill sets, the skill sets that got us the problem. We use the same skill sets to try to get us out of the problem, and it does not work. It just doesn't work at all. So I'm going to kind of leave you with hopefully a little teaser. If you go to traitmarker.com, TRAITMARKER, you can take the assessment. It's free. And what it's going to do is going to tell you what your dominant is. By the way, it's 27 questions, or really 27 scenarios, very generic scenarios. There's only 3 choices for each. So if you choose not to answer one of the 3, it's not going to give you a result. But if you answer all 28 scenarios, it's going to identify you to be, number 1, it's going to identify what your dominant trait is, something that you know. It's going to identify what your supportive trait is, typically the thing that you get paid to do. Those are the skill sets that you get paid for. Then last but not least, it's going to tell you what your weakness is, which is something I guarantee you probably, well, no, I shouldn't say that you probably never thought of, but something you're probably even suspicious of, that's whenever you get in a panicked mode and you actually utilize these skill sets, your problem gets solved just like that. And so being able to know when to switch from your dominant to your support, to your hidden strength is very important. What does that mean when it comes to entrepreneurs? Because we're all entrepreneurs here, I'm assuming. All of the money I've made since 2000, I've made on my own, okay? There were times that I wasn't making money, but I learned really quickly how to make money when I wasn't making money, when the mortgage is due and all that other wonderful stuff. But what I will tell you is, when it comes to being an entrepreneur, we've got to realize that the kind of personality that attracts your customers to you is not the same kind of personality you need to use to solve their problems. It sounds counterintuitive, because most everything in the real wild world is counterintuitive. So anyways, I want to encourage you to go there. One more plug-in, traitmarker.com. By the way, I won't misuse your information. It doesn't make you put down your name. I'll have your email address if ever in the future I want to send you something. But there's no other way that I have any tags on you. There's no cookies involved or anything like that. So anyways, that is my encouragement. Is there anything else I needed to talk about? No, that's all? My name is Robbie Grayson, R-O-B-B-I-E. Oh, by the way, really quickly, I should say something. I came over here to the States to go into the military, okay? You know why? Because my father moved us to Europe after Vietnam. And the only way he got me out of the house was telling me that I would be drafted if I did not leave Germany. Now, I left for college in 1991, okay? In order to avoid fighting in Iraq, basically, originally. Not really that. I wanted to be an officer in the military. But when I got out of college, I ended up coming up here to a good friend's wedding up in Green Hills. This is back in 1997. Loved this place, fell in love with it. Moved here while I was pending going into the military. Ended up just settling here. I've got 6 kids, live on a beautiful farm off Del Rio Pike, about 700 acres, out in the boondocks. No one can find me, which is nice. But I founded a school back in 2000, which really became the lab for Trait Marker. It's called Stone Table. You're probably not, I don't know if you've heard of it or anything like that. But it's an alternative school, and I work with a lot of celebrity kids and celebrities' children. Learn a lot about entitled kids. But anyways, so Trait Marker really was born out of finding a way to help entitled children who did not have the skill sets to succeed. That's how it began, and it ended up being something that's been very practical and used by quite a few people. So anyways, that's all I'm going to say.
Awesome. Thank
All
you.
right.